I want to talk with you today about a truth that has shaped every life, whether we acknowledge it or not. It is the unbreakable law of success that says, in essence, that our rewards in life will always be in direct proportion to our service. It's a principle so simple that many overlook it, hoping for a shortcut, a trick, or some stroke of luck that will let them skip the price. But there is no skipping the price. You see, the world does not pay us for what we know or for what we say we can do. It pays us for what we actually do in service to others. This truth is the foundation of every fortune, every legacy, every meaningful contribution to the world. We live in a time when the idea of service has been diluted, often dismissed in favor of cleverness or sheer ambition. But let's pause for a moment and really consider this. The most successful people in any field, the men and women whose names we remember, are not necessarily the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. They are the ones who figured out how to serve better than anyone else. They understood the law that says you cannot take from the world what you have not given to it first. Now, before we go any further, I want to ask you to take a moment to think about the value of these ideas. If you're finding this message meaningful, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might benefit. It's a small act of service in itself, one that can ripple outward and change lives. Now let's return to this principle. Too many people look at success as something that's given to a chosen few. They see it as luck, connections, or simply being in the right place at the right time. But that's not how it works. Success is earned through service, through solving problems, fulfilling needs, and making life better for others. A man who wants more must become more. He must ask himself every day, how can I increase the value I bring to the people I serve? This question is the key that unlocks greater opportunity, greater prosperity, and a greater sense of purpose, because money itself is nothing more than a yardstick that measures the service we render. Imagine a salesman who earns a small commission and wonders why he struggles. He may blame the economy or competition, but the truth is he has not yet learned to serve better. He has not learned to listen more carefully, to understand his customers' needs more deeply, to deliver on his promises more reliably. Now imagine another salesman who earns 5 or 10 times as much. Is he 10 times smarter? 10 times stronger? No, he simply serves 10 times better. He has mastered the art of helping others get what they want, knowing that his own success is a natural consequence of their satisfaction. This is the truth that the most successful people understand at their core. The doctor who studies for years to master his craft knows he must earn the trust of every patient he serves. The teacher who inspires her students knows she is planting seeds that will bear fruit far beyond her own lifetime. The entrepreneur who risks everything for his vision understands that his profits depend on how well he solves real problems for real people. This law applies to all of us, no matter our station in life. The employee who does just enough to get by will never know the satisfaction or security of true success. But the one who looks for ways to do more than is asked, to take ownership of the results, will soon find doors opening that he never imagined were there. The beauty of this law is that it is completely fair. It does not discriminate by background, by education, by birth or circumstance. It simply says, if you want more, serve more. If you want to earn more, help more. If you want greater respect, deliver greater value. It is an inescapable law like gravity. You can no more cheat this principle than you can leap from a rooftop and expect to float safely to the ground. When we understand this, we stop looking for excuses and start looking for opportunities to serve better. Some will hear this and dismiss it as too simple. They will say the world is unfair, that connections matter more, that only those at the top get the breaks. But those who say such things have not truly tested this principle. They have not committed themselves to becoming so good at serving that they cannot be ignored. They have not asked, how can I make myself more valuable today than I was yesterday? Because those who do ask that question, and who act on the answers they find, inevitably rise. It is not overnight, and it is not easy, but it is certain. Think of the farmer. He does not plant seeds and expect an immediate harvest. He knows he must prepare the soil, plant carefully, water, weed, and wait. But he also knows that if he does these things faithfully, the harvest will come. It is a law, and so it is with our lives. If we prepare our minds with study, if we plant seeds of service in every interaction, if we cultivate relationships with honesty and care, if we work with diligence and patience, we will inevitably harvest the rewards. They may not come exactly when or how we expect, but they will come. This is the promise of the unbreakable law of success. It asks something of us. It asks us to grow, to stretch, to commit to mastery of our chosen field. But in return, it offers us the one thing most people want more than anything else: a sense of purpose, of contribution, and of well-earned prosperity. So today, I want to challenge you to ask yourself honestly, am I serving as well as I can? Am I delivering more than is expected? Am I growing my own capacity to help others solve their problems? Because the answer to those questions will determine everything about your future. Most people misunderstand the nature of service. They think of it as drudgery or as something owed only to those who pay them. But true service is not limited to the exchange of labor for a paycheck. True service is an attitude, a philosophy of life that says, I will find ways to make the world better through what I do, no matter how small or humble my role may seem. This is the foundation of all progress, all civilization. Every great invention, every advancement in science, medicine, business, or art began with someone asking, how can I make this better? How can I serve humanity more effectively? The people who answer those questions with action change the world, and they are rewarded accordingly. We see examples of this all around us, though many fail to notice. Consider the restaurateur who treats every diner as a guest in his own home. He does not simply serve food, he serves an experience. He pays attention to every detail, from the cleanliness of the dining room, to the courtesy of his staff, to the quality of the ingredients. The result, his restaurant thrives while others close their doors. He has learned the unbreakable law: serve better, earn more. Not because of luck, but because he has committed himself to serving at a higher level than his competition. Or think about the nurse who goes beyond the bare minimum required by her job. She offers not only medical care, but comfort, patience, and genuine concern. She learns the names of her patients, listens to their fears, and offers encouragement. That nurse becomes indispensable. Patients request her. Doctors respect her. Administrators notice her. And when opportunities for advancement arise, who do you think they consider first? This is not an accident. It is the natural result of better service. It is the same principle that governs the business owner who reinvests in his people, in his tools, in his training. He knows that if he can make his team better, he will serve his customers better. And if he serves his customers better, they will reward him with loyalty, referrals, and their continued business. There is no mystery in this, no trick. It is as certain as planting good seed in fertile soil. The results may not be immediate, but they are inevitable. Many people are waiting for success to come before they commit to service. They think, once I'm paid more, then I'll work harder. But that is not how the world works. You do not heat the stove and then add wood. You must feed the fire first. You must prove yourself capable of greater service before you can expect greater reward. This is the stumbling block for so many. They want the harvest before they have planted the seed, before they have done the work of tending and watering and waiting with faith. The most remarkable thing about this law is that it does not care about your past. It does not care about your age, your background, or your mistakes. It cares only about what you choose to do today. You can decide at any moment to raise the standard of your service. You can choose to become more valuable to the world. And in doing so, you transform not only your circumstances, but yourself. This is what personal development truly means. Not reading for the sake of knowledge alone, but for the sake of applying that knowledge in ways that serve others. There is a story about a man who lost everything in a financial collapse. His business failed, his reputation was damaged, he found himself with nothing. But instead of surrendering to despair, he asked himself, what value can I still offer? How can I serve in a way that no one else is willing to? He identified a need no one else was filling and built a new business on that foundation. He became even more successful than before, not because the world suddenly favored him, but because he had learned to focus on service. His loss had stripped away his illusions and reminded him of the unbreakable law. If you want to change your life, you do not need to wait for circumstances to change. You need only ask yourself one question with honesty and courage. How can I serve better? This question holds the power to unlock opportunity where before there was only frustration. It turns complaints into ideas, obstacles into innovations. It is the question that has built empires, launched inventions, and turned ordinary people into legends of industry. So I want you to reflect on this deeply. Consider your work, whatever it may be. Ask yourself, am I doing just enough to get by, or am I looking for ways to go beyond? Am I anticipating needs, solving problems, delighting those I serve? Because in those answers lie the keys to your future. No one can answer them for you. No one can do this work on your behalf. But if you choose to embrace this principle, to make it your personal creed, you will find that the world responds in kind. It may take time, it may demand patience, but the results will come. Let's take this even further. I want you to understand that serving better is not simply about doing more work. It is about doing better work. It is about the quality of thought you bring to what you do. Because you see, there is a difference between being busy and being effective. Many people pride themselves on being busy. They fill their days with tasks, meetings, distractions. But busyness is not service. True service demands focus, skill, and intention. It asks you to slow down enough to think clearly about what is truly needed and then to deliver it with excellence. The craftsman does not rush his work. The artist does not carelessly slap paint on the canvas. The great business leader does not make decisions in haste. They all understand that quality of service is the foundation of lasting success. This principle applies whether you are a clerk in a store, an executive in an office, or an entrepreneur building something from nothing. Excellence does not require grand gestures. It requires small, consistent acts of care and mastery. It means you take time to learn your craft, to know your tools, to understand your customer. It means you do what others overlook, because when you do, you stand out. The marketplace may be crowded, but it is never crowded at the top. Most people will not do this work. They will not hold themselves to a higher standard, and so they limit themselves, not because opportunity is scarce, but because they choose not to rise above average. Think of the young man who begins as an apprentice. He has little experience, perhaps limited education, but he is willing to watch, to listen, to learn. He stays late to ask questions. He takes notes. He practices when others rest. Over time, he surpasses those who once mocked his inexperience. Why? Because he invested in himself, and in doing so, he made himself more capable of serving others. This is the quiet, unglamorous path to mastery that all true professionals walk. And it is always rewarded. Not immediately, not with fanfare, but inevitably. There is something else you must understand. Service is not something you turn on or off depending on who is watching. True service is a habit of character. It is what you do when no one is watching. It is how you show up on the days you don't feel like it. It is the discipline of keeping your word, of delivering what you promised, of refusing to cut corners. This is integrity, and it is inseparable from service. Because when people know they can trust you, they will choose you, they will recommend you, they will stay loyal to you, and that trust, once earned, is the most valuable asset you can have. It is tempting to think of service as something transactional. I do this for you, you pay me. But the best service transcends the transaction. It creates relationships. It builds reputations that last a lifetime. The doctor who listens carefully, the teacher who inspires confidence, the builder who refuses to compromise on quality. These people do not simply complete tasks, they build trust. They create word of mouth that money cannot buy. They make themselves irreplaceable, and that is the surest path to security in any economy. Many people today feel threatened by change, by technology, automation, shifting markets. They fear being replaced, becoming obsolete. But the truth is, no machine, no algorithm, no cheaper competitor can replace the human being who is committed to serving at the highest level. The world will always make room for excellence. It will always reward those who see change as an opportunity to serve better. Instead of asking, how can I protect what I have? The successful person asks, how can I adapt to serve better in this new environment? That question transforms fear into innovation. I want you to really let this sink in. Your future does not depend on luck or on hoping for a break or on waiting for someone to notice you. It depends on your daily commitment to improving what you offer, to see your work as a chance to make life better for someone else, to ask not, what can I get away with, but what can I contribute? This is a rare mindset, but it is the mindset of leaders, of pioneers, of those who build enduring success. You might say, but my work is small, it doesn't matter. I tell you, there is no small work when it is done with excellence. The cleaner who keeps a hospital safe and sanitary serves lives just as surely as the surgeon. The cashier who greets customers with genuine warmth can turn a mundane transaction into a moment of human connection. Every act of service ripples outward in ways you cannot fully measure. And when you make it your habit to serve well in all things, you prepare yourself for greater responsibilities, greater rewards. So today I want you to ask yourself this simple but profound question. Am I serving as well as I can, or am I holding back, waiting for someone to pay me more before I give more? Because the world does not work that way. You give more first, and then you receive more. It is not magic, it is not philosophy, it is law. The law of sowing and reaping. The law that has governed every success story you have ever admired. And it is waiting for you to put it to work in your own life. When we talk about serving better to earn more, it's important to understand that this principle is not limited to your job or profession. It is a way of life. It governs your relationships, your reputation, even your own sense of self-worth. Because at its heart, service is about seeing others, not as obstacles, not as tools for your own gain, but as fellow human beings with needs, hopes, fears, and dreams. When you approach people with genuine respect and the desire to help, you set in motion a force that returns to you many times over. This is not a trick. It is the natural consequence of treating others as you yourself would wish to be treated. Think for a moment about the people in your life whom you admire most. Are they selfish? Are they stingy with their time or their attention? Or are they generous, thoughtful, willing to help without always asking what's in it for them? You see, the people who serve freely, who give more than is asked, are the ones we remember, the ones we trust, the ones we turn to in times of need. And it is precisely because they serve without counting the cost that they find their own lives enriched, their relationships are deeper, their influence is greater, their opportunities multiply. I have often said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And there is no worthier ideal than making yourself useful to others. This does not mean sacrificing your own needs or becoming a doormat. Far from it. It means realizing that your greatest power lies in your ability to help others get what they want, because in doing so you secure what you want. There is no conflict here. The most successful salesman is not the one who pressures customers into buying what they don't need. He is the one who understands his customer so well that he can offer the perfect solution. He builds trust, not resistance, and that trust becomes his most reliable source of income. Consider the leader who commands genuine loyalty. He does not demand respect. He earns it by serving those he leads, by listening, by providing clear vision, by removing obstacles, by caring about their growth. He understands that leadership is not about power over people, but responsibility for people. And because he serves them, they choose to follow him. They work harder, stay longer, give more of themselves. The leader's reward is not only higher profits or promotions, but the satisfaction of seeing those around him succeed. This principle of service applies just as much in personal relationships. The husband or wife who thinks only of their own needs, who keeps score or withholds affection as a bargaining chip, will find their relationship deteriorating. But the partner who asks, "How can I make this person's life better? How can I support their dreams?" will find their own needs met in abundance. Love, like success, is not something you can hoard. It must be given freely to be received. And the more you give, the more you receive. Even in moments of conflict or negotiation, the person who serves better gains the advantage. By listening carefully to the other side, by understanding their needs and concerns, you can find solutions that satisfy both parties. This is the essence of true persuasion, not trickery or manipulation, but the sincere desire to find common ground. And those who master this approach find themselves trusted, respected, and sought after in every field of human endeavor. Some will say, "But people will take advantage of me if I give too much." That is only true if you give blindly, without wisdom. Service is not servitude. It does not mean saying yes to every demand or neglecting your own principles. It means applying your talents and resources thoughtfully, where they can do the most good. It means learning to say no when necessary, but always with respect and integrity. It is the balance of generosity and discernment that marks the truly successful person. The beauty of this approach is that it makes you indispensable. In a world where many do just enough to avoid being fired, the person who consistently delivers more value stands out like a beacon. Employers fight to keep them. Customers return to them. Partners rely on them. Opportunities seem to find them, though in truth they have created those opportunities through years of committed service. There is no mystery here, no magic, only the application of an ancient law that says, "You will reap what you sow." So I want you to think carefully about how you approach the people in your life, your customers, your colleagues, your family, your friends. Are you seeking first to understand their needs? Are you offering them your best self, Or are you holding back, waiting for them to prove themselves to you? Because the world reflects back to us what we project onto it. If you approach others with suspicion or selfishness, you will find the same in return. But if you approach them with genuine care and the intent to serve, you will unlock a level of cooperation and goodwill that most people never experience. This is not theory, it is observable fact. The people who live by this principle are not just richer in material terms, they are richer in spirit. They sleep better at night, they walk taller, they feel the deep satisfaction of knowing they have contributed something meaningful to the world. And in the final measure, that is the only wealth worth having. There is something profound that happens when a person commits to serving better in all that they do. They begin to change from the inside out. Their thoughts become clearer because they are focused not on endless self-doubt or envy of others, but on practical questions of usefulness. How can I help? What problem can I solve? How can I improve what I offer? These are questions that lift a man or woman out of fear and into creative action. And it is through action, consistent, thoughtful action, that we shape not only our results but our very character. Because the truth is that you cannot serve better without becoming better yourself. Let me tell you plainly, no one drifts into excellence. No one becomes valuable by accident. The person who serves better has made a conscious choice to be more aware, more disciplined, more caring. They have decided that they will not accept mediocrity in themselves, even if the world does. And by doing so, they set themselves apart. In any industry, in any era, there are those who rise above the average. They are the ones who say, "This isn't good enough. I can make it better." They become the standard by which others are measured. And in return, they are paid, respected, and remembered accordingly. I want you to think of your own work right now. Whatever you do, however humble or grand it may seem, ask yourself, am I treating this as a chore to be endured or as an opportunity to serve? Because the attitude you bring to your work transforms it. A task done grudgingly is never done well. But the same task approached with care and pride becomes an expression of your values, your commitment to excellence. This attitude is visible to others, even if you think no one notices. It shows in the smallest details, in the way you greet people, the precision of your work, the reliability of your promises. There is a saying that character is what you do when no one is watching. And I would add this, service is how you make sure your character is worthy of success. Because success is not a reward handed out by a generous world, it is the natural consequence of who you become. You cannot hide your true level of commitment forever. Sooner or later it shows in your results. It shows in your reputation. It shows in the trust others place in you or withhold from you. The person who lives by the law of better service does not fear this exposure. They welcome it because they know they have done the work. Consider for a moment the way many people approach their days. They do what they must. They look at the clock, waiting for their freedom. They see their work as something separate from their lives, something to get through so they can get to what really matters. But what they fail to see is that how they do anything is how they do everything. The habits they build at work become the habits they bring home. The level of care they bring to their tasks becomes the level of care they bring to their relationships. And in the end, their entire life reflects the same level of quality, or lack of it. Those who understand this choose a different path. They refuse to compartmentalize excellence. They decide that they will be the kind of person who does things well, no matter how small or unnoticed those things may be. Because they know that excellence is not something you turn on for special occasions. It is a way of being. And when you live this way, you begin to attract people and opportunities that match your standard. Employers notice, customers remember, partners rely on you, and you find yourself in demand, not because you demanded anything, but because you offered everything. I want you to think of the farmer again. He cannot decide to sow poorly and then pray for a good harvest. He cannot neglect his fields and then curse the skies when the crops fail. He knows that the land gives back what he gives it, nothing more, nothing less. And so he works the soil carefully, choosing the best seed, watering diligently, weeding patiently. He does not control the weather, but he controls everything else he can. And because he does, he increases the odds of a rich harvest. This is not luck. It is not favoritism. It is law. So it is with you. You cannot sow half-hearted effort and expect full-hearted rewards. You cannot give the minimum and demand the maximum. Life does not work that way. The law of service says, what you put in, you will get out. And if you want more, you must give more. Not once, but consistently. Not only when you feel like it, but especially when you do not. This is the test that most people fail. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They want the respect without the discipline. But those who understand the law of service accept the sacrifice, embrace the discipline, and in doing so, claim the reward that others say is impossible. I am telling you this because I want you to understand that there are no shortcuts. There are no secrets hidden from you by the successful. The path is clear if you are willing to walk it. Serve better, earn more. Serve consistently, earn consistently. Serve with your whole heart, and life will respond in kind. And so I ask you today to decide. Decide to raise your standard. Decide to give more than is asked. Decide to make service your way of life. And watch as everything else changes around you. When you choose to serve better, you are not just changing your external circumstances. You are changing yourself. Because every time you choose to give more than is asked, to care more than is expected, you are strengthening your own character. You are building habits that will stay with you for life. And these habits are what will sustain you through every challenge and setback. Many people believe that success depends on external conditions, the right economy, the right connections, the right timing. But the truth is that lasting success is built on internal conditions. It is built on who you are when things go wrong, when you are tired, when no one is applauding you. It is built on your ability to keep serving even when you feel like quitting. There will be days when it feels like your effort is unappreciated, when it seems that no one notices the extra care you put in, when others cut corners and get away with it. On those days, you will be tempted to drop your standard to match theirs, to say, "Why bother? No one cares." But I want to remind you the law of service is not about immediate applause. It is about planting seeds that will grow in time. The world may not notice today or even tomorrow, but eventually it will. Because quality cannot remain hidden forever. People talk, word spreads, and those who consistently serve well develop reputations that open doors no one else even knows exist. Think of the trusted advisor, the lawyer, the doctor, the consultant, whose clients stay loyal for decades. Do you think they achieve that by doing just enough? By rushing through appointments or ignoring questions? No. They built that trust by treating every interaction as important, by respecting their clients' time, fears, and hopes. They understood that every detail mattered, because behind every detail is a human being looking for help. And when you show people that you care about them, not just their money, you create bonds that no competitor can easily break. The same is true in leadership. A manager can demand results through fear, through authority, through the threat of consequences. But those results will always be limited, temporary, and shallow. True leadership comes from service, from the willingness to understand your team, to support their growth, to give them the tools and the confidence to excel. The leader who serves earns loyalty that cannot be bought. When challenges come, the team rallies, not because they have to, but because they want to. And that loyalty becomes the leader's greatest asset. In your personal life, too, the principle holds. Think of the friendships that last. They are not built on convenience or shallow flattery. They are built on years of mutual service, of listening, of helping, of showing up when it is hard. The friend who is there at 2 a.m. when you need them. The family member who sacrifices without complaint. These relationships are priceless because they are built on service freely given. And they are the relationships that sustain us when everything else falls away. You may be wondering at this point, but what about me? If I keep giving, who will take care of my needs? It's an important question, and here is the answer. When you make service your way of life, you will find your own needs met in abundance. Not always in the exact way you expect, not always from the same people you serve, but met nonetheless. Because you will have built a network of trust, of goodwill, of reputation that acts like a reservoir you can draw from. You will have invested in relationships and in your own skills and character, and those investments will pay dividends for the rest of your life. This is why I say that service is not sacrifice in the sense of giving something up for nothing. It is investment. When you give more, you become more. You expand your capacity. You become the kind of person people want to work with, buy from, promote, befriend. The rewards may not come instantly, but they will come. And they will come in forms you cannot even imagine today. Opportunities will appear that you would have missed if you had settled for average. People will offer help and partnership without you having to ask, because they will see in you something rare and valuable, someone who can be trusted to serve well. I want you to think about this carefully. Everything you want in life is on the other side of service. Do you want financial security? Then become indispensable to those who pay you. Do you want love and respect? Then give love and respect freely. Do you want to feel proud of who you are? Then live in a way that earns your own respect. These are not mysteries, they are laws, and they work whether you believe in them or not, just as gravity works whether or not you acknowledge it. So today, I want you to make a decision. Decide that you will not wait for permission to be excellent. Decide that you will not lower your standard to match those around you. Decide that you will be the person who serves better, not for applause, not for recognition, but because it is who you choose to be. Because when you do, you will discover the truth that every successful person knows. Serve better, earn more, and beyond earning more money, you will earn something far greater. You will earn a life of meaning, of contribution, of deep satisfaction that no one can ever take from you. Let us look even deeper at this idea of serving better, earning more, and see it for what it truly is, a philosophy of living. It is not just a strategy for business success, though it will certainly bring that. It is a way of seeing the world and your place in it. It is the recognition that every human life has inherent value, and that your worth is measured not by what you can take, but by what you can give. Too many live their days asking, "What can I get out of this?" They measure every opportunity, every relationship, by what it offers them personally. And so they limit themselves. They close themselves off from the abundance that comes only to those who dare to ask, "What can I contribute?" This is the difference between the life of quiet desperation and the life of quiet confidence. The person who serves better walks through the world with a different spirit. He does not fear competition because he knows he offers something unique. He does not fear change because he knows he can adapt by learning to serve in new ways. He does not fear failure because he understands that failure is simply feedback, a lesson in how to serve better next time. And this mindset liberates him from the anxieties that cripple so many others. Instead of being paralyzed by uncertainty, he is energized by possibility. Think of the great innovators in history. They did not ask, "How can I make a quick profit?" They asked, "How can I solve this problem? How can I make life easier, safer, more enjoyable for others?" And because they focused on service first, the profits followed. Henry Ford did not just want to sell cars, he wanted to make them affordable to the common man. Thomas Edison did not simply want to make money from electricity, he wanted to light up the world. The great fortunes of history were not built on taking, but on giving at scale, on finding ways to serve more people better than anyone else could. But this principle is not only for the giants of industry, it is for you and me in our daily lives. It is for the parent who invests time and patience in raising kind, thoughtful children, for the teacher who stays after class to help a struggling student, for the mechanic who fixes not just what is broken, but what might soon fail, saving his customer trouble down the road, for the clerk who remembers your name and makes you feel welcome. Each act of better service might seem small on its own, but they accumulate, building reputations, relationships, and ultimately a life that is rich in every sense of the word. Some might say, "But Earl, you don't understand my boss, my customers, my situation. They don't appreciate good service." To that I would say, all the better reason to deliver it, because excellence is always rare, and what is rare is valuable. Even if the people you serve today do not see it, others will. Your reputation will spread. Opportunities will appear, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. And even if they do not, you will have the satisfaction of knowing you held yourself to a higher standard. That alone is worth the effort. Because you can lie to others, but you cannot lie to the man in the mirror. And when you know you have done your best, you walk taller, sleep better, and face the world with calm assurance. It is important to understand that serving better does not mean servility. It does not mean allowing others to mistreat you, or failing to stand up for what is right. True service requires strength, clarity, and self-respect. It is knowing your worth and offering it freely, but never cheaply. It is being willing to say no when necessary, not out of spite, but out of integrity. It is the balance of humility and confidence, of generosity and discernment, that makes service powerful. Because people know when it is genuine. They can sense when you are helping because you truly want to, not because you expect something in return. This is why I say that serving better is not a tactic but a way of being. It is not something you do only when it is convenient or when someone is watching. It is a habit of mind and spirit. It is choosing every day to ask yourself, How can I bring more value? How can I make someone's life a little easier, a little brighter, a little better today? And you will find, if you make this your habit, that you will never lack for purpose. You will never wonder what your life is for, because you will see evidence of your impact all around you, in the gratitude of those you help, in the opportunities that come your way, in the respect you earn without demanding it. And yes, the financial rewards will come too, because money is simply a measure of value exchanged. The more people you serve and the better you serve them, the more money will flow to you as naturally as water flows downhill. This is not theory. It is not philosophy. It is law. It is the law of cause and effect, of sowing and reaping, written into the fabric of life itself. And those who understand it, who embrace it, who make it their guiding principle, will find themselves living not in scarcity, but in abundance. I want you to remember this. Serving better is not something you do for a month or a year, but for a lifetime. Because life itself is a journey of constant growth, constant learning, and constant contribution. The person who stops serving better stops growing. They settle, they stagnate, and eventually they watch opportunities pass them by. But the person who commits to always asking, "How can I improve what I give?" remains forever young in spirit. They stay relevant no matter how the world changes. Because they understand that needs will always exist, problems will always need solving, and there will always be a place for those willing to do that work well. Consider the seasons of life. When you are young, you may have little experience, but you have energy, curiosity, and time to learn. Use it to serve better by studying, by practicing, by finding mentors, by doing more than you are paid for. In middle age, you may have responsibilities and pressures, but you also have wisdom and judgment. Use them to serve better by leading, by teaching others, by refining your methods, by innovating. In later years, you may not have the same energy, but you have perspective, calm, and a deep understanding of what matters. Use them to serve better by advising, by encouraging, by leaving a legacy of character and principle for those who follow. You see, there is no point in life when this law does not apply. It is as true in your personal life as in your work. It is as true in your community as in your home. The parent who invests time and care in their child will see it returned in love, in pride, in the knowledge that they shaped a good human being. The friend who listens without judgment, who shows up when times are hard, will find their own life enriched with bonds that cannot be bought. The neighbor who helps without being asked, who looks out for others, will find themselves surrounded by goodwill. These are not grand gestures for the history books, but small daily choices that create a life of true wealth. Some may say, "But Earl, I've tried serving better and it didn't work. I wasn't appreciated. I was taken for granted." And to that I say, serve better anyway, because service is not about the applause of others. It is about the person you become. It is about your own integrity, your own standard. The world is not perfect. People will disappoint you. Some will take advantage, but they cannot take away your choice to remain excellent. And over time, the world has a way of sorting things out. The takers may enjoy small victories, but they cannot sustain them. The givers may suffer setbacks, but they build foundations that last. So ask yourself honestly, are you doing the bare minimum? Are you waiting for someone else to motivate you to pay you more before you give more? Or are you setting your own standard, choosing to be excellent no matter what? Because the person who serves better never waits for permission to lead, to innovate, to solve problems. They see themselves as responsible for the outcome. They say, "If it is to be, it is up to me." And that attitude alone transforms their entire life. It makes them sought after, trusted, indispensable. It gives them options in a world where others feel trapped. I will tell you this as clearly as I can. The path to security, to prosperity, to respect and fulfillment is not found in chasing money or status or approval. It is found in making yourself so valuable that the world cannot ignore you. And you do that by serving better, by knowing your craft inside and out, by listening to those you serve, by caring more than is strictly necessary, by delivering more than is expected, and by doing it consistently, not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. If you will commit to this philosophy, not just for today, but for every day, you will find that everything else falls into place. Money comes because people pay for value. Relationships flourish because trust is earned. Opportunities appear because reputation precedes you. And perhaps most importantly, you will live with a sense of purpose that no setback can steal. You will know that you are contributing, that you are needed, that you are making the world just a little better through your efforts. And so I invite you, as we finish this time together, to make a promise to yourself. Promise that you will see your work, whatever it is, as service. That you will give your best without waiting to be asked. That you will seek always to improve, to learn, to grow. That you will measure your success not by what you accumulate, but by what you give. Because in the end, that is the unbreakable law of success. Serve better. Earn more. And beyond earning more money, you will earn the respect of others, the love of those who matter, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you lived well. If these ideas have resonated with you, I encourage you to share them. Talk about them with friends, with family, with anyone who you believe might benefit. Because the more we remind each other of these principles, the more we lift each other up. And if you found value in this message, consider subscribing and helping us spread this philosophy to those who need to hear it most. Together we can help create a world where service is not the exception, but the expectation. A world where success is measured not by what we take, but by what we give.